Chapter 549. Later that afternoon, at the Adair family mansion, Fury and Edward had already selected some gifts in advance before heading to the Adair family mansion. Lord Adair knew that the father and son from the Whale family were at Orris Hill, but he also knew that something had happened to the youngest son of the Whale family. Therefore, he did not expect them to come and visit him so soon. However, since both the eldest son and eldest grandson of the Whale family were here, Lord Adair was naturally very polite, and he came out to entertain the both of them in person. At this time, Fury and Edward were both sitting opposite Lord Adair in the living room, and Alfie was serving tea and snacks to everyone as they all chatted happily together. Fury presented Lord Adair with a lot of gifts and also shook hands with Lord Adair as he said, "Uncle Adair, I have not seen you in such a long time. I did not expect you to look so strong and healthy at this age. I really envy you, Lord Adair." Lord Adair smiled slightly before he said, "My body is not as strong and healthy as it seems. At best, I will be able to live for a few more years." Fury hurriedly replied, "Uncle Adair, you are truly too humble." After that, he spoke again, "Uncle Adair, I heard that you fell critically ill the last time. However, you seem to look very radiant. I believe that you are already in good health now." Lord Adair smiled bitterly before he said, "At first, I really thought that I was lucky and in good health, but I only realized today that I am far from great." Fury was a little surprised when he heard Lord Adair's words. He quickly asked, "Uncle Adair, what do you define as great then?" Lord Adair smiled slightly before he exclaimed, "Well, it would be great if I could return to the state my body was in more than 10 years ago overnight." As he said this, Lord Adair thought of Pycelle, who had subverted his cognition and shocked him terribly today. He could not forget about it even after coming back from the Serene World Clinic, and he was still brooding over it. He did not know if he would ever be able to experience an opportunity like that for himself. If he could, he would not have lived in vain. Fury did not know what Lord Adair had experienced and witnessed for himself. Therefore, he thought that Lord Adair was joking when he said this. So, he smiled before he said, "As the saying goes, there is a day where the flowers will bloom again, but people will never become young again. Uncle Adair, I know that you wish that you were young again. I also have the same wish as you. Unfortunately, this is nothing more than a fantasy that is impossible to realize." Lord Adair smiled slightly and did not say anything else. After all, the only reason why Fury felt they couldn't become young again was because he had never encountered someone like Alex in this world. Thus, Lord Adair did not want to waste any more time talking to him about this. At this time, Lord Adair suddenly asked Fury, "By the way, Fury, how is your second son's situation now?" Fury sighed before he said, "He is still in the same condition. I have already tried all sorts of methods and ways, but there is no progress at all. I have already sent him back to Sudbury on a plane earlier this morning." As he spoke about this, Fury continued speaking. "The reason Edward and I have decided to stay back in Orris Hill is because I want to find out the reason why my youngest son suddenly came down with this illness. I strongly suspect that someone has cast a spell on him or used black magic on him. There is a strong reason for us to believe that his illness has something to do with the witchcraft practices in Southeast Asia. I wonder if you know anyone good at dealing with this kind of practice in Orris Hill, Uncle Adair?" Lord Adair shook his head before he said, "I have only heard of witchcraft and black magic, but I have never seen or experienced it personally before. I can't even be certain whether these things really exist or not." Fury replied earnestly, "These things are actually true, but they are usually used by the smaller communities and poorer people on the sidelines. Many people use these methods because they desire to become richer and gain wealth for themselves. Wealthy and powerful families such as ours generally do not engage in these practices."